I was gutted when I first saw Rob Brydon's small man in a box routine, as for years I've been entertaining my pals with my own man trapped in my mouth.
Well, first of all, the small man in box is a silly little thing I do that nonetheless shows great talent. and it's this.
Where are you? I don't know where you are. Somebody get me out of here.
Thank you. Now.
OK, can we hear the man trapped?
Well, I'd rather not, because...
You can't do it?
Because what it is like, I never thought about doing it as part of my act or anything like that, but... Yeah. You know, it's like anything that's really, you know, that you think, oh, that's good. And then you see someone else do it properly and well, and, you know, like Rob. Yeah. And I thought, well, I can't do that now, because it's been done... Mine's amateur in...
We'll take an amateur version, won't we? We won't...
Yeah.
We'll take any old rubbish.
I'd be embarrassed to do it.
That's why I want you to do it.
BBC.
I think the only way we can really get a grip on this is if you were to give us a little something on it.
You've got to give us a sample.
Just have some water. You know it's like, Rob.
Careful, he'll drown.
Just warming up. just putting him in. The part of the trick...
Oh, you tend to put him in, do you? Can I just say before you do it, that's a nice detail that you might want to consider.
Yeah. Anyway, enough prevaricating.
All right. OK.
I wonder what you're going to do.
Why don't I see if I can coax my little man in a box to have a little chat to the man who you've got stuck in your mouth?
Rob Brydon chat-up line.
Here it comes. Ready?
How are you feeling today?
Do you think it's possible that Jason might have been lying in what he's been saying?
I don't know, because he could be better at it than he's making out.
No, I'll be honest with you. That's the best I've ever done it.
Tell you what we'll do. Just one last little try, and just the best it can be for us.
Panicking now. Panicking.
So what do you think, then, Lee?
Warwick.
Well, at first I thought he was lying, but I'm tending to think now that he may well have done this.
Paul?
No, I think it's a lie. I think he's actually practiced as he's been doing it.
You think he's learned that talent in the last 5 minutes?
I think that talent has really come to the fore in the last 5 minutes.
You think it's a lie? Warwick thinks it's true. I think it's true, because he did it well.
I think it's true?
I think it's true, because he did it well.
All right, you're saying true.
Well enough.
OK. So, Jason.
Yeah.
Were you telling the truth, or were you telling a lie?
It was... true.
Good start, Warwick.
One of the codes I live my life by.
Always a good start.
Is that my appearance should be in no way noteworthy. But then again, not so unnoteworthy as to be in itself noteworthy.
What do you think?
Well, if it is true, you're certainly carrying it off. When did you decide on this code?
It didn't happen suddenly. It just, you know...
It sort of developed.
The way I felt comfortable being sort of gradually formed into the philosophy, and I don't think that's too grandiose a term, that I have read off a card for you today.
I would say, since you've got a beard, you have become more noteworthy.
The answer to that is I've enjoyed growing a beard. But you're right, because I've grown a beard, some people have said, oh, I see you've grown a beard, or he's got a beard, look at his beard. And I hate those moments.
Can I just put you up on the point?
I deeply hate those moments of being physically noticed.
Have you really enjoyed growing a beard?
Well, no, that's what's so odd. I mean, I haven't, like, hugely enjoyed it. It's not been like a brilliant roller coaster. but it's just very, very slightly I've enjoyed it. And very slightly also I've had a sense of achievement. Of course, it is no achievement. It's actually a failure in personal hygiene. but it feels like an achievement.
But you surely went through the difficult itchy stage.
I did go through this.
No one enjoys that?
No. I call them my teens.
Do you make these rules about everything? Are the underpants you're wearing unnoteworthy enough to be you know what I'm saying? Are they?
No, I don't think...
Sorry, let's start again. Are you wearing underwear?
Yes.
OK.
And I don't want to sound too sexy, but yes.
Oh.
I don't want to sound too sexy, but no.
Oh.
Under my underwear, I'm naked.
Oh. David, I want to know not what you consider noteworthy. I want to know what you consider so unnoteworthy that it becomes noteworthy.
A grey tie. If you were in a suit, like you're in a suit-wearing scenario,
yes,
and you wore a grey tie, that would be so unnoteworthy as to be in itself noteworthy.
So a grey tie...
It could be so colourless, so not wanting to draw the eye, it would draw the eye. It's how you spot spies, isn't it? People who are just trying to blend in so much, they blended in so much they're noticeable.
It's true.
Like a chameleon. If there was a chameleon in here, it would stand out.
I'll tell you what, if there was a comedian in here, it'd stand out.
It's a worrying round of applause on the subject of our...
Is it true or is it a lie? Make your decision.
I think it's true. I think it's very plausible that David would be like that, yeah.
OK.
Yeah, I think it's true.
True?
I'll go in my team and say it's true.
All saying true. David, truth or lie?
Yes, well, of course it's true.
Whenever I eat beans on toast, I always imagine I'm a rescue helicopter, and with every forkful, I'm airlifting tiny bald men on a raft to safety.
What do you think?
How long have you done this for?
Since I was about 8.
Right. Any reason you do this apart from just keeping yourself amused?
It's
or...
my Auntie Bridget, who used to live with us.
Yes. Is this going to be a tragic story? She's bald, she was on a raft, she never survived, and it's our way of remembering her.
She was on a raft with 400 bald men who needed rescuing.
Trust me, we all know your auntie. Yeah. You say raft, you mean mattress.
Yeah. Oh, I hope she's not watching.
She's busy, don't worry.
She used to live with us. My Auntie Bridget used to live in our house, and she would often have to look after us if our parents were out. You know, I wasn't a good eater. I was a very skinny kid. And she used to try all sorts of stuff, and this is one technique she had. She used to do all sorts of other things as well.
Like what? What else would she do?
Spaghetti was, you were trying to, you were throwing like a line, a rope down to rescue people at the bottom of a pit. Fish fingers were coaches.
Fish fingers were what?
There were coaches on the motorway. Here comes the coach, chop it in half. She's quite funny, my Auntie Bridget. She's quite odd.
Do you think the bald men in question that were going to die on the raft felt glad that they'd ended in a more comfortable position of going down your throat into your stomach?
Well,
did you feel that was a safer place for them?
Well, that was the helicopter they were coming into.
Oh, your mouth was the helicopter?
Yeah, my mouth is the helicopter. That's a raft going down. That's the raft. The raft is they're sitting on the fork, which is a raft.
No, the raft is the toast, surely.
The toast is the raft.
No, because...
Yeah. What's the toast?
No, the toast is the boat they were in on the ocean. It's now covered in... Why would they be on a raft? If they're on a raft, they're already rescued. They're already OK.
But helicopters don't lower down rafts.
Oh, thanks. Well, you've just ruined an entire lifetime story for me.
Another man comes attached to the rope, and he picks up each individual bald man on the raft. I've seen it. Every time I've seen loads of bald men dying at sea, and a man comes out of a helicopter and individually picks them up. So if you'd have done your backstory and you were a proper actor, you would know that you're supposed to be taking one beat. That's what Charles Dance would have done. Yeah, he'd have taken... because he did his research! Yeah, but... and that's why he's not going to be the voice of Postman Pat!
So what do you think?
What do we think, Charles? Are we buying this story?
Reluctantly, I think I am buying this story.
You think it might be true?
I do actually think it sounds quite realistic. I think that in a child's brain you might make up all of these scenarios.
I don't think he was eating the beans. I mean, look at his hair. He was only eating the crust of that toast.
We think it's true, don't we?
You think it's true?
Yeah.
Charles says it's true?
Yeah.
I'll go on and we'll say it's true.
You're saying it's true. Stephen Mangan, truth or lie?
It is, in fact, a lie.
Yes, it's a lie.
At school, I was given the nickname the Charmer because I was the only one who could console the school snake whenever it got agitated.
David, antique.
So, what type of snake was the school snake?
It was... do you know what? I genuinely can't remember what type of snake it was. It was... I could describe it.
Go on.
Go on.
Legless. It was... yes, it was about so big.
What was it called?
It was called... I think it was called Sammy.
You remember its name but not its species?
Well, I'm like that with women. Grass snake rings a bell, I think.
Why did your school go for a snake as opposed to, like, a mouse or some such?
Oh, it had a mouse as well, but it was in there with the snake.
What was in the tank other than the snake?
It was... Well, it was open plan. There was an area in the corner where he used to sleep. We used to call it the bedding area.
What was there?
What was there?
What was there? Never mind what he used to do.
It's like an ordinary bed, but it's just a lot longer.
A
lot longer and a lot thinner. very long and thin. Extremely hard to tuck in at night. They're all there. By the time you'd done one side and gone round the other side, this side had come up again. You'd be there forever. It was
very long, thin.
Very long, thin
mattress.
bed. Very long, thin mattress.
This wasn't one of those snakes that likes to sleep curled up.
No.
It likes to stretch out.
Right out like that.
Why did a snake need charming? Was it a particularly aggressive snake, or...?
It used to do this little thing where it used to raise its head up and sort of shake its head like that, left to right. Like that.
Yeah.
And I said to the teacher, what's that? What's he doing that for?
Oh, so you were taught in the same room as the snake?
Well, no, we went to different lessons, but in one of the classrooms...
This was during snake studies.
Well, that's what the PE teacher called it. So I said, as well as the other kids, we were saying, what does he do that for? And the teacher said, that is a sign that the snake is getting agitated. And I said, I bet I can stop that. And I lifted off the thing, and I just went like that, and I stroked the back of its head as a joke, and it stopped.
So you can't demonstrate it on a snake?
No, I can't.
But Matt is there. I mean, what if Matt... what if Matt were to be a little agitated? I wonder if employing the same methods you could calm Matt?
Well,
Matt, could you be a little agitated?
If you could be a snake, now, if you could sort of put your head down here... Yeah, put your head further down. Put your head here, because the head starts off down, right? Now, get into character.
At a certain angle, this looks really dodgy.
It's like I'm just about to go bowling. So you're looking down, right, and you're the snake. Now, suddenly, you're a snake, you're agitated. Oh, my God! That's an agitated snake. Yeah. You're all worried, aren't you? Don't worry, I'll sort this out. Now, I'm going to use my hand, because in proportion to the head, that's a finger. Yeah? Then I stroke the back of the head like this. And watch him. Watch the snake calm.
Oh, nice.
Go down.
So what do you think, then, David?
Lee claims that his teacher called him the Charmer, and that's a nickname that stayed with him. I'd have got murdered at my school if my teacher would have said, You're the Charmer. That's it.
There's so much of that I've got a problem with. That thing,
I think
there was a grass snake.
Time for a decision right now.
I think we think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie? Lee, the snake charmer, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
Well, actually, it was a lie.
I have a 40% stake in a prize-winning racing pigeon.
Lee.
If there's one thing I know about, it's buying pigeons. So be careful with your answer. Tell me now, Richard, how much do you pay for 40% of a pigeon?
We paid £600.
You were robbed.
And it's about £70 a month to keep them, which is
£70 a month?
Yeah.
Wow.
That is a lot of trill.
We don't feed him trill.
What do you feed him?
IPO, steroids.
Oh, well, fine.
£70 a month? What are you taking him to Alton Towers? What are you doing with him?
Firstly, he's got to be housed, he's got to be fed,
yes,
he's got to be trained.
In a wooden shack.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave him in a bungalow. Shack. This is a prize winner.
Why do you say prize winner? What has he won?
He won the Prix Calais.
Yeah.
And he's won some local things, but that's the proper deal.
Pre-PRIX.
correct.
How many pigeons were in the race?
It's about 450. It's less than 500, but more than 100. It's
Come on, 500. The sky would be black then with pigeons. I think it's the Germans. They're back.
They released in Calais and they raced all the way to...
Well, they race home.
And where's home?
Essentially, well, his is up in Lancashire.
Right.
What's the pigeon's name?
It's called Cobbold Joe. Cobbold, C-O-B-B-O-L-D.
Cobbold
Joe.
It's because the original, as you know about racing pigeons, right?
Oh, I do know about racing
Toddy
pigeons.
Cobbold.
Yeah.
Toddy Cobbold was the grandfather.
Yeah.
And so we chose that name. That's nice.
So
is that true? Is there a pigeon called Tolly Cobbold?
Don't know.
You said you knew
mixing me
about
up with someone from a Hovis advert.
Are there any distinctive markings? So just if there were some pigeons there, say Trafalgar Square, I'd be able to go, oh, that's Cobbold Joe, down in London for the sales.
I'm going to be honest. I would struggle to choose her out of a pigeon parade.
Really?
But
her, and she's called Joe.
Yeah.
So is it Joe with no E?
Yeah.
That's fine. Show it for Joanna.
Next question.
I think I might have this. Yeah. I don't think lady pigeons do the racing because they would be pregnant some of the time.
I tell you what, she better not be.
It was only a cuddle, wasn't it, Richard? Do you go and watch do you go and when they go off, do you watch it?
I have seen the pigeon race once. Yeah,
How much of the race did you see?
I've seen the pigeon release. You've seen the release.
Have you ever seen a pigeon land?
Yeah, I've seen
You were there when the pigeon
yeah.
landed?
No,
you've never seen a pigeon land?
Right, I've seen a pigeon land, yeah.
Yes?
But not under racing conditions. Is that right? You've just seen a pigeon land in its spare time?
Yeah, exactly.
So you've only ever seen...
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you've seen your pigeon take off, but you haven't seen your pigeon land.
I have seen
Does that mean your pigeon's lost?
I don't think when a racing pigeon lands, it's any different than a normal pigeon.
exactly.
Oh, wrong.
They don't get ticked like
Skids right to the shed and go, whoa! I was going fast.
No, it doesn't. It raises its wings as it presses the tape. That's what it does.
So, it's time to decide, Lee. What are you going to say?
I think it's true.
Do you think it's true?
I think, not true.
Let's say lie. I get confused if you say not true. It is a lie.
You think it's a lie? Richard, the pigeons, the racing, Cobble Joe. Truth or lie?
A lie.
Possession.
There's a box under your desk. Would you pop it on the desk? And then, first of all, read out the card that's inside before you show us what the possession is.
This is my cat cam. I put it around my cat's neck for a week to film what I got up to because I believed it was him who kept turning the kitchen tap on.
OK, let's take this item out and pop it on the desk. Right, Lee's team, cat cam.
So you're saying that you thought the cat might be turning the tap on?
Yes.
Well, we know it wasn't John. So you put the cat cam on the cat for how long?
For, generally like an hour at a time, but while I was out.
So the cat's clever enough not to be turning this tap on when you're in?
Well, yeah, because I would just see him doing it, and then I would know it was him.
If he could do the tap, were you not worried that he could turn the camera off?
No, because the tap's like one of those ones where that's quite fiddly.
And how do you see the picture? You connect it to a computer?
Yeah, it's
Is there
just
a
got
USB
a USB
on there?
thing, yeah.
Oh, I see, OK.
You attach it to the computer, and how long are you watching? An hour at a time?
Well, you fast forward it. I'm not sitting
just
watching...
the highlights. You're doing the highlights.
Yeah.
Go on. The big question is:
was it the cat?
Not so far, but it's still.
Somebody's turning the taps on when you go out of the house.
It's kind of a work in progress.
When you come back,
I hope he's not watching because then.
Don't worry, he's turned this off. It's perfect. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why didn't you attach the camera to the tap?
Thank you.
What's the name of your cat, Sarah?
It's called Chief Brody.
And the personality, is he a scratcher?
He is a scratcher.
On bits of furniture?
Arms.
Well, that's not so much of a worry. It's the furniture is more the thing, isn't it?
Is it?
Thanks.
Can I ask why you're so worried about the cat turning the taps on when you've got something in your house that's attacking you? I wouldn't mind if it's turning the tap on if it's scratching my face.
Well, that's because you're not a cat lover.
No, but I don't like things that scratch.
Well, don't get a cat then.
Am I the weirdo here?
Yes.
We have a show of hands. Yes. That's so lovely to hear, because usually it's me.
What colour is your cat, Sarah?
Ginger.
Pink collar, ginger cat.
Would you? It's red. It's not
Would
pink.
you? Pink.
It's red.
Oh, please, it's pink.
It's red. Shut your face.
Red and ginger, devil's finger.
That's what they say.
Wouldn't they say... Who says that?
No one says that.
They do.
Is that what your mum used
And
to
they're
say?
still saying it.
So what do you think, Lee? Is she telling the truth?
What do we think, Rob?
I'm saying it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie. David's saying it's...
Possibly true.
Well, I'll lie.
OK, you're saying lie. Sarah, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
I have 5 chickens, all named after my favourite newsreaders.
Well, there we are. Right, Lee's team, what do you think?
What are their names?
Their names are Anna Ford,
Yeah.
Jan Lee Ming,
Another newsreader.
Selina Scott,
Newsreader.
2 Scottish ones, Viv Lumsden and Mary
yeah.
Marquis. They were very well-known newsreaders in Scotland.
What, specifically for Scottish news?
There is Scottish news, yes.
You didn't mention Angela Rippon, did you?
Angela Rippon died. Not the newsreader, the chicken.
Actually, it was Moira Stewart that died.
Oh, not Moira.
This is Chickeny Moira Stewart that's passed away.
Chickeny
In case
Moira
any
Stewart.
viewers are
Yes.
upset, Newsy Moira Stewart is as fit as she's ever been.
As long as she can... Can I just ask, is that a joke about Moira Stewart, or did you really have a chicken called Moira Stewart that died?
I really... It's just the way you're looking at me is putting me off. I really had a...
I have to say,
This is not the first time a woman has said that to me.
What breed of chicken are they?
They are Burford Browns and Cotswold Leg Bars.
Right, do you know enough about chickens? Are they real chickens, then?
Yeah, those are real chickens.
How do you know so much about chicken? You seem to know a lot.
Well, I know that... Well, in Waitrose...
I thought for a minute then you were some sort of farming expert. It turns out you're just very middle class.
Exactly. And they've got those Cotswold leggy ones, I've noticed, the eggs.
Can I ask why you didn't have any male newsreaders?
Well, because we actually... Well, I'm going to have to say it now. We didn't want a cock.
Is it me or is it getting hot in here?
When you say they are your favourite newsreaders, how
Can I just say, of all the people we've had on the show, you're the most, it sounds like you're actually interrogating.
Well, how do you rate newsreaders? That's the thing I want to understand.
Well, if you've been in the newsreading game as I have, Henning, it's a bit like... I'm sure when you watch stand-ups, you think, well, they're good, they're not so good, they're...
I hate a lot of them.
Right. Well,
So why was that one Selina Scott and not that one?
Well, funny you should ask that. Selina Scott, particularly beautiful, with sort of blondish feathers.
So Jan Leeming, then, what were her markings?
Well,
The chicken, not
Yes.
Jan Leeming.
Well, she's a rather dignified bird, and she's a very good layer.
Again, are we...
You asked for it.
What do you think, Lee? Is she telling the truth?
I'm not buying that. I don't think that's true. I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
I think it may be true, but I'm going to go with Henning. I think he's got a very good beak for it.
We'll go with Henning's beak and we'll say that that is a lie.
You're saying it's a lie. Kirsty, were you telling us the truth or were you telling a lie?
It's true.
My dad used to keep a coconut in the car because holding it was the only thing that would cure my travel sickness.
David's team.
Where did the coconut come from?
We used to go on this very long journey to Devon.
Yeah.
That's where we used to go on holiday. One year, when the fair came to the village where we were staying, we won a coconut, and because I was sitting with it in the car on the way home, because I was so fond of it, it was the one journey where I didn't get sick.
And you hadn't opened the coconut, you hadn't given into
No.
the temptation, which most of us, when we get a coconut, really the thrill is the smashing open with the hammer of the coconut.
I disagree. It's the drilling and the sucking the milk out with the straw.
Some of us like to drill and suck, some of us like to smash.
This is what it says on robsmatch.com website.
So, talk us through the benefits. I mean, what was it about holding the hairy little fella that...
You got excited then, didn't you?
That's brought you such comfort?
I think it must have just been the texture of it and also the sheer distraction.
This could be the best night of your life, David.
It would help me to visualise if you could put your head in her lap. Could we do that? Can you just... You pop your head, just so we can get a feel. You could just...
Well, do you know what? He didn't take much persuading, did he?
So how would that look? Is this something we could believe in? Yeah, just slightly higher so we can see.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad he faced that way. That could have been awkward, couldn't it?
Well, you don't look as delighted with the coconut as I was expecting.
Can I just say, with my slightly spiky hair, I probably am slightly more coconut-esque. Just saying.
Too late, the coconut's been cast.
So, David.
Marvellous.
David, what are you thinking?
What do you think, Griff?
I don't believe the old hairy coconut story.
I think definitely true. So I'm saying true, Griff's saying not true.
I
So
don't know.
whoever your favourite is, just go with that.
It's like I'm, you know, a nasty dad with two children of very different ages. My instinct is it's true.
You think it's true? OK, Susanna, they say it's true. Were you telling the truth? Or were you, in fact, telling a lie?
It is a lie.
I looked after a neighbour's pet for 5 days before I realised it was dead.
David Mitchell and team, what do you think?
OK, what was the species of pet?
His name was Charlie. So initially I thought he was going to be a spaniel at the very least. And then it turned out that he was a stick insect.
Right. The stick insects, I mean, I'm not an expert, David, don't require a huge amount of high maintenance upkeep. What was your role meant to be?
Step 1, greenhouse, eucalyptus into the cage.
Eucalyptus?
Eucalyptus.
Wasn't a koala bear.
Step 2, water squishy gun. Squish, squish, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So you drowned it.
And because I felt that he might be a bit unhappy, I would take him out into the garden for this. And when the wind blew, he had little aerials, and they'd, you know what I mean, just like a stick insect. So I thought he was alive.
Oh, so the wind gave you the impression that it was moving.
I'm alive. I'm dead. Alive. That's how you'd know.
What's the spraying for?
To simulate the monsoon environment.
They come from a part of the world where there's a regular daily 25-second monsoon.
Yeah.
I think if I'd taken him out, then obviously I would have seen that...
Out of what?
The cage.
Right.
Cage.
Cage. Well, we say cage.
He was in a tight met. You're supposed to be on my team.
I know, but I know that's what they're thinking. So I'm trying to help them on by going, what, you mean that thing that little sticks could get through a cage?
Good question. It's a very tight mesh.
Let's call it a glass cage or a tank.
No, because no, they couldn't breathe then.
No, you don't have a lid on it. You have a. Oh, actually, no. Good. I was going to say you have a
will
mesh.
You stop designing hutches for stick insects?
So how did you eventually know that he was dead?
I was putting in the eucalyptus and removing yesterday's eucalyptus, and he was...
Who had been eating yesterday's eucalyptus?
No, it was... I just take it out, and he was like this, OK? And then when I took it out, it brushed past him, and he just reacted like this. And you know...
Yeah.
That's a fair description.
So what are you thinking, David? Is that truthful, or has he made it all up?
I don't think it's true, because I think stick insects sort of live in gangs and aren't as he describes them.
Gangs?
What's the collective noun for lots of stick insects?
Trees.
Do you two think it's true? Because I'm very happy to defer.
It has the ring of truth to it.
I would go for... I'll say false.
Susan says lie. Richard?
I say true.
You say true. David?
Well, I think it's a lie, so...
You think it's a lie? You're saying it's a lie. OK, fair enough. David, they think you're telling a lie. Were you telling a lie, or were you telling the truth?
This is a 100% trustworthy face, and it was telling the absolute truth.
Sorry.
I'm in a four-man pub quiz team with a butcher, a baker, and a candlestick maker.
David's team.
What's the name of this team?
Quartet.
How did you get to know the butcher, the baker and the candlestick maker?
In the pub. There was much mirth, because we realised it was butcher, baker and candlestick maker.
What's the name of your butcher friend?
Harry Granger.
And the
That was
baker?
quite quick.
Ed.
Ed what?
Ed Saville.
And the candlestick maker?
It's called...
He's called Bill Grimes.
No, it's not!
Just because you're dressed in like the 19th century, the names don't have to be for the 19th century.
So, Barry, remind me again, the three names are?
Bill, Harry and Ed.
And their surnames?
Grimes. Do you know, you've got me there.
OK, next question.
Granger. Have the visitors been?
They brought you some flowers, Barry.
Did they?
And some chocolates, yes.
They steal your trousers when you're asleep.
So what do you think, then, David?
What do you think, Miranda?
I don't know.
I do.
I think it's completely and utter untrue.
Codswallop.
So what are you going to say, David?
Well, I think we'll say it's a lie.
I think it's a lie?
Yes.
Oh, dear, dear, dear. Barry, truth or lie?
It was.
Every Sunday, I spend 4 hours planning the 20 outfits I'll wear the coming week.
David's team.
Do you lay them out, or do you just picture them?
I rack them. So in my bedroom, I've had some special bars put up.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Yeah?
He has, I can vouch for this.
So I have one which is about 5'8", OK, and then I have another one which is about 4 foot high. OK, so when you put a pair of trousers on, or a jacket, or a top, it then looks like you. I occasionally, if I'm very busy, I photograph them. And then
I remember that bit too.
Yeah.
And explain why you need 20 out, because I'm thinking, even if you... I mean, I'm a tremendous slovenly slut.
It feels like you're phoning Babe Station and someone else has picked up. Sorry, can I speak to Sheila, the regular one?
I often wear the same outfit in the afternoon as in the morning.
I could be filming a series, and then I might be filming 3 different shows in one day, so I'll need 3 different outfits to represent 3 different episodes. I might be going out for lunch, and then I'll be doing something in the afternoon, so I'll get changed from a lunch outfit, because I don't want to be too dressed up to walk the dog. And it's also done by a weather report as well.
What?
The Met Office are fools. They get things wrong. Do you go through with your galoshes in bright sunshine on a Friday evening? You're presenting yourself as someone who plans things very carefully, thinks things through very carefully, but your very act of planning is in itself badly thought through. Because on a Monday, you only planned it the day before, you've got a good sense of what the weather's going to be like, your plans for the day are probably better formed, so on Mondays, that's absolutely fine. I know what I need in the morning, the afternoon, and, you know, outfits 3 and 4. But come Friday, the weather's all to cock, the dog has died, you dropped 2 scenes you're supposed to film on the Wednesday, you've got to fit them in on the Friday.
But I've taken photographs. So even if I've planned a Thursday PM outfit and I decide I don't want to wear it, I just flick through my phone and I might want to choose a Saturday PM outfit. And I'll go back to it.
How long do you spend on a Sunday getting your outfits ready for the week?
What I do is I look at the 7 or 8, or maybe sometimes 9 dirty underpants in the bag. I work out exactly, I spread them out on the bed. I look at them, I think, which can take a fourth trip?
David, I'm curious to put the same question to you. Sunday night comes around, you've had a smashing day, Country File is finished, and now you're thinking, I've got to plan ahead. How much time and thought goes into it for you?
Well, I always wear basically the same thing every day, so none.
You're like Batman in that respect, aren't you?
Yes, I see myself as a superhero, and I have basically one outfit. Which, you know, and
what's your superpower?
The ability to decide what to wear very quickly.
What are you thinking, David?
I think it sounds very plausible.
It does sound plausible, but is it too plausible?
I think it's true.
David's team thinks it's true. Gok, were you telling the truth, or were you telling a lie?
Are you trying to work out what to wear before you press
I was telling the truth.
When I got my first car, my friend and I would pretend to be cops, park up, eat burgers and tail cars we'd picked out of the traffic.
David's team.
How old were you at the time?
Well, I would have just passed my test, so 17.
What was your first car?
It was a Mini.
Can you indicate how you pretended to be cops?
We used to watch a lot of American films where cops normally sat in the car eating donuts and drinking coffee, and then they'd see somebody go by who might be a criminal, and they'd sort of throw the food and speed up. And so that's what we were doing, in essence.
So you were American cops?
Yeah.
And what were you eating?
Just normally a burger and some chips.
And how far would you let yourself get through the burger before you decide someone was a criminal and you throw it away?
Well, we let fate decide, really, because we would say the next green car that goes by, that's going to be the criminal.
How do you know how the police operate?
What happened when you caught up with them?
Well, we also set a rule that we would follow them all the way to where they were going.
Oh. It's starting to sound a bit sinister.
This is changed now.
And when they arrived, then we would just carry on. We wouldn't confront them or anything.
And how far was the furthest you went in pursuit?
Bulgaria. That was a really crap weekend, wasn't it? I don't think they're going to stop. The bloke in the front is going, don't stop, there's a bloke following us. I don't know, Bulgaria, just keep going.
How far was the furthest you went? Like more than a mile, 2 miles?
Oh, more than that, but we'd never go out of the county. We lived in Surrey.
Because you had no jurisdiction.
Did you exceed the speed limit?
Well, if they did, we would then lose them because we didn't have authority to speed.
What did you think they were guilty of? What were their crimes? Why were you after them?
Just because we'd been told to.
Who was telling you?
Bring him in.
Did you have little radios? All units, we're looking for a green Ford Cortina, registration Alpha Papa Papa Alpha.
Didn't know Alan Bennett was a policeman.
Here we go. He said, we're looking for a car, it's just escaped. If anybody happens to see it, do take chase, but don't get too close.
David, I'm holding you responsible for that one.
I thought he'd already done it.
So what do you think, David?
I think it might be real.
I think
it might be true.
He had a bit of fun.
Well, I think we think it's true then.
Yeah.
I'm going to say true.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis, truth or lie?
It is the truth.
Possession.
Okay, there's a box, which I think is at the side of your desk. Can you see it?
Yeah, got it.
Would you read the card first
Yeah.
and then bring out the possession?
These are my favourite boxer shorts. Despite the fact they've seen better days, we have such a strong bond, I still wear them.
All right.
OK, now let's have a look at this possession. Let's see.
Oh, hello. Hello.
All right.
Sorry, you've got to show the back bit. That's vile.
What's that?
That's you figured. No.
That's the back bit. That's the back bit.
Do you still wear those, Josh, as pants, or are they...
Yeah, I don't wear them as a hat.
Josh, how many pants do you have? How many pairs, like, roughly, would you say?
10 to 12.
So these get used, what, once a fortnight?
You've done the maths.
So 2 days where you don't wear pants. Is tonight one of those days?
I don't know if you wear boxers. I think you might be a...
Briefs guy.
Briefs, is that what they're called?
Oh, that is...
You're young, you're quite trendy, the hair's forwards, which to me says you're quite trendy.
Don't listen to her, Matt.
Josh, if I was your girlfriend, I would want to dust with those. I wouldn't want to see them on you.
Can I ask you something? How long have you had them for?
I would have probably got them when I was about 18, so that was 12 years.
Explain the bond you have with these pants. Why?
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. They haven't got any specific memory, but I just don't like wastage, really. And they're still perfectly usable.
No, they're not. The frightening thing is, if they're not Josh's pants, whose pants are they?
Well, Josh, would you help us out here by perhaps just slipping into them so we could get an idea of the fit?
Yeah, I would.
Get them on. Get them on. Get them on.
This is what women chant at me in bed.
Josh, maybe round here somewhere would be nice.
Here?
That's going to be a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll take my shoes off.
You see, look, he doesn't seem okay with the mapping of them.
It's not like you get familiar with pants and it becomes a second nature.
He's not at ease with those
This
pants.
is genuinely one of the lowest moments of my life, by the way. Just so you know.
If I had a penny for every time someone said that on this show.
So, oh my God.
I suppose all you can do now is pray that it's edited sympathetically. Which, in all honesty, is unlikely.
Josh, my love, that waistband is a good 2 inches too big for you.
If you feel the elastic, Mel...
Come on.
Mel, you don't have to touch anything you don't want to.
If you feel the elastic, then it's kind of gone a bit.
Right, I'm going to do something slightly sinister.
I've been dreaming of this since late lunch, I'm not going to lie to you.
Come closer, love, come closer. Yeah, there's a whole finger. That's not
a finger.
All right, just take your shoes and please go back to your seat.
I feel like I've been thrown out of a pub. Take your shoes and go.
David, it's time to gather your thoughts and ask yourself whether or not Josh is telling the truth.
I think, Mel...
Yes, my love.
You're strongly of the opinion that those are not Josh's pants.
He did not seem at ease when he was touching.
He was intimidated by the pants.
He was intimidated.
Yeah.
He was.
I agree with you that there's a stylistic clash between Josh and those pants.
I'm not buying it. There's no anecdote. There's no, I kept these when so-and-so up with me. If he's going to keep a pair of pants that long, you've got to be through some good times and, by the looks of it, some bad times.
So, what are you thinking then?
Well, I think we think it's a lie.
All of you, all agreed. OK, Josh Widdicombe, the pants.
Can I just say... Either way, I am going to give them to Mel so she can dust with them from now on.
Well, that's lovely. That's heartwarming. Is it the truth, or were you telling a lie?
I am ashamed to say it's the truth.
Go on! Yes, it's true. They were indeed Josh's favourite boxer shorts, which he still wears.
Possession.
There's a box under the desk. Just pop the box on the desk, and then there's a card inside it. Before you take out the possession, just read the card, please.
This is one of the pairs of leg warmers for birds that I have made. I would have brought more, but birds are using them.
Could you show us these leg warmers?
I live beside the canal, and the swans are very unhappy around there.
The swans? You've tried to put a leg warmer on a swan?
He hasn't tried to, he succeeded.
How the hell do you... A swan? So they're trying to feed it over the webbing, and he doesn't get crushed. It's got a great big beak on us.
Everyone knows about this, but if you befriend the swan... The first thing, you befriend the swan when the wings go up like that, and then generally the next thing they go like that, as in make me leg warmers. That's it.
Are they for swans?
David, they would break your arm if you went near them.
Famously.
Famously.
That's what they do. They break your arm and then the Queen eats them.
Yes.
How do you get them over the feet?
If you put your hand like that and then try and get it over there. It's like O.J. Simpson. Stick it on there. That's a swan.
That's a swan,
Yeah,
folks.
that's a swan.
With the swan, it's all about authority. So watch this.
No, they're webbed.
That's no good.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt the swan. You've just ripped through its webbing.
You know when you said swan at the beginning?
Yeah.
Did you mean sparrow? David, it's time to take a guess. I mean, I don't know which way you're going to go on this.
Maybe a swan could be able to slip that over its foot, and maybe a swan would derive tremendous warmth from this incredibly thin and flimsy and short piece of material going an inconsiderable distance up its really rather long leg.
I think it's true.
Don't say that!
True.
Don't say, because that's the sort of... That's what happens to your mind in this game. You say, and you start thinking, oh, yeah, of course, the fact that he said swan and it seems impossible is exactly what's so plausible about it.
If you people don't start taking this a bit more seriously, I'm going to bring my Uncle Ian out here again.
So what are you going to go for?
I think we're going to say lie.
Lie? You're saying it's a lie.
I'd just
David
like to
or
say, Rob.
Yes.
If it's true.
Yes.
I don't care.
David, truth or lie?
I'm afraid my tale of swan leg warmers is a lie.
Oh, thank
God. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought it?
I can balance a banknote on my nose.
When did you first find this out?
When I was about 13.
Is it flat or is it sort of like that?
It's on its
edge.
Yes, and I would balance it on like that.
You've done it straight
like
up?
That? Yes. Yeah.
On your nose?
Kind of like that.
So that the end of the note is along your nose there, going upwards.
Yes.
And what's your technique for... Because I imagine the problem with that is that the note would immediately fall off. What's your technique for preventing that?
Zen.
Zen?
Zen.
Is that a type of glue? What do you think, David? Does this have the ring of truth for you?
I don't think it does. I think it's an odd mixture of something that would be impossible and not that impressive anyway.
So what do you think?
We think it's a lie.
I think it's a lie.
Three of you think it's a lie. OK. David Harewood. Truth or lie?
It is true.
Whoa!
That Rob's your note now.
Yes, it's true.
Whoa. You pulled that out at just the right time for us. Cheers, mate.
Yeah. I have to stand up for this.
All right, please do.
Here we go.
Take your time, milk it. I was recently bounced off a bouncy castle whilst trying to prevent a bouncident.
What's a bouncident?
It's an incident involving a bounce, and you put the two together to create bouncident.
Surely it's a derivative of accident, not incident.
Well, obviously, an accident is an incident, and a bouncident is an incident. Was this bouncident an accident?
It was a bouncident waiting to happen.
How
How did you go about preventing the bouncident that might or might not have happened?
I'll tell you everything. Let me set the scene for you. It's early summer. It was the birthday party of a small child.
Was you invited or just turned up?
Look, let's be clear. There's a children's party in a church hall.
Yeah.
I'm attending because it's the party of my nephew.
Yeah.
And there's a bouncy castle.
Whoa, in the church hall?
I know, I've never
Indoors?
seen
Yes,
that.
yes.
An indoor bouncy castle?
Indoors?
Yes.
How big
No,
was
there
it?
wasn't.
No, there...
How did they get it in the door?
That's a fire hazard.
I'm not an idiot. How did they get it in the door? We've got him.
No, I'm sorry, church hall, is that where the service is being held?
No.
That's the adjacent building.
Church hall was our Prime Minister during the war. Now, I don't like bouncy castles, because I think they're dangerous.
Right.
And my little boy went on after I'd expressly told him not to.
Well, he disobeyed your orders. Worst father I've had, most incompetent father. Well, I don't like to say, but I think the boy's better off in care.
Hey, this is very upsetting. He clambered on, unbeknownst to me.
Yeah.
And he's going back and forth. So I get on and I get my little boy, George, who is not even 2, and I pick him up.
Right.
Okay? And I'm trying now to hold my little boy whilst being bounced by these evil children. My wife is stood on terra firma, and as I'm coming off the bouncy castle, a particularly hefty child bounces, sending me up. Holding my son, I hurtle through the air. Luckily, I come to my feet like Spider-Man, but the impetus is too much. I surge forward and headbutt my wife, thus having the bouncident that I was trying to avoid. So, what are you going to say, Lee?
What do we think?
Yes, I think it's
You
true.
think it's true?
If a 2-year-old had clambered on, you might well go and get your 2-year-old off.
I think that's true.
Well, then I must say true.
You say true. David's team?
Well, we'll say it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie,
Yeah.
you say it's true. Well, it's actually true.
Tension mounts. I have hidden in a cupboard to escape Anthea Turner.
David's team.
Where were you when this happened?
In the cupboard.
Where was the cupboard?
In the room I was hiding from Anthea.
Where was the room?
Just away from Anthea Turner.
What was the occasion? And do not define the occasion or the geographical space in relation to Anthea Turner. What else was it?
It was on a TV show that I was doing.
Hide in the cupboard from Anthea. I remember seeing it on BBC 3.
It was very good. I don't think Lee was ever on it, though.
Oh, that's a lie.
Yeah.
What was the show called? Pet Power.
Pet Power.
Pet Power. Yeah. It was
What was
about
the premise
cats
of the
with
show?
capes.
What were you doing on the show? What was your role on the show?
My role on the show, I was the warm-up man, like a TV warm-up man. Pet Power was a show where the pets would come on and there would be interesting stories about pets, and some of them, this particular incident, was a butchie goes up into the rafters, and I'm upstairs in my dressing room, and I'm watching it on the monitor, and I hadn't been doing comedy very long, and I was running out of things to go back and say to warm the audience up.
Yes.
And I saw the budgie go up in the rafters, panicked, and there was a knock on the door, hid in the cupboard. And they actually came into the room, but I was hiding in the cupboard.
And you mean the floor manager,
if you will,
turned to Anthea and said, Anthea, I need you to pop upstairs and get the warm-up
I don't
man.
think it was Anthea that personally came to get me.
Oh, I see.
But
You
how will I
didn't
ever know?
hide from-
How will I ever know, Griff?
They knocked on the door of your dressing room.
Correct.
Then what happened?
As the door opened, I thought, oh my God, they're going to come and get me and say, come on, get out of the cupboard and do some jokes even though you've gone left. And at that point, this is the bit you're not going to believe, I thought they're going to find me, and then I saw a lion, a witch. And I was able to escape into the forest, never to be seen again. No.
I'll tell you what I'm interested to know.
Yeah.
You didn't stay in the cupboard indefinitely.
No, because that would have been ridiculous.
You came out, and you must have chanced upon Anthea.
I did.
It wasn't really Anthea that went to look for him, it transpires, just the floor manager. It was a perfectly normal professional relationship. He's rather building up his intimacy with Anthea Turner. I don't think they've ever exchanged any words at all. Even in the lie world where any of this happened, which is not the world we're living in at all. Narnia is more believable.
David, could that be true?
Griff, do you think it's true?
It's not true.
Jimmy?
I think it could be true. I know Lee used to do TV warm-ups. I used to do TV warm-ups as well. It's how a lot of comics start. And I do think when you start out, you run out of material.
You do.
Do you think it's true?
I think it
You've
could be true.
You've talked yourself into thinking it's
Yeah, I have,
Well,
yeah.
I listened to you earlier in the show and it didn't work, so I'm going with Griff. It's a lie.
You think it's a lie? OK, Lee, was it the truth, or were you telling a lie?
Of course, it is absolutely true.
I once got stuck in a cave for an hour after getting the hood of my kagool caught on a stalactite in a way I couldn't un-twizzle.
Right, caves and stalactites. Lee, Mack's team.
Well, the bit that we definitely believe about that story is kagool.
Kagool.
Yeah. We're not doubting kagool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Red.
And when in the last 3 weeks did this happen?
This happened when I was a boy, a child, a human
A boy child?
Boy child. What cave was it?
It was somewhere in France.
Ah, holiday?
Yes.
Deliberate ploy by parents to get rid of you? Give him the baggy kagool and find a stalactite, then run.
You were in there for an hour.
Yeah, I was caught on the stalactite.
For an hour?
For an hour,
Just
yeah.
remind me again, stalactites go down, right?
Stalactites hang down.
Hang down.
Stalagmites go up. And the easy way to remember it
Yeah.
is that stalactites have a C in them. Stalactite, C for ceiling.
Yeah.
Stalagmites have a G, G for ground.
No, it's the stalactites come down, isn't it? The tights
But
come down.
tights go up as well.
No, they don't. Not when I'm around. Look.
How did you eventually escape?
My dad came and released me.
So you're with your family on this trip?
Well, they were sort of...
It took them an hour to find you. I would have thought, if I'd have lost you and you'd have been my child, it would have been 6 or 7 days.
Right, so what are you thinking, Lee? Could this be true?
What do you think?
I'm going to go for a lie.
You think it's a lie? Bob?
Lie for me, Lee.
Lie.
Lie. David?
It's a lie.
Yes.
I will not get out of bed on Christmas morning until I have smoked a full cigar.
Oh. What age did this start?
About 33.
What made you start?
Well, when I was giving up smoking, I smoked those thin cigars, so I thought, well, that's not really smoking. And then when I properly gave up smoking, I thought this should just be... It was a Christmas and birthday treat.
How long does it take you to smoke the cigar?
About 6 months. And then start on the birthday one. Always got one on the go, but great to have given up smoking.
Do you smoke the whole cigar?
Smoke the whole cigar.
And how long does that take?
A couple of hours.
That's a lot of puffing.
You're still in bed?
Still in bed.
So you have the cigar ready the night before, and the little match and everything, you're ready to go?
No, we have stockings in the morning, so we all then huddle around my bed.
Oh, so the family and friends have to come to you, to the base of the bed, and no present opening until it's finished.
Have you by now slipped into the Christmas onesie, or are you still in your negligee?
Negligee?
Yeah, we're all imagining, because there's nothing more arousing than a woman lie down and smoking a big fat cigar.
Yeah, exactly.
I prefer a Woodbine girl myself.
Merry Christmas, Lee. Can't get out of bed till this is finished.
So what are you going to say, then?
What do we think, Barry?
I've got 100% wrong record on this current
It's time for a change,
It's
Barry.
time for a change.
Whatever you say, we're going with.
I think it's true.
In fact, it's a
You
lie.
think it's true? Is that what you're saying, Lee?
No, absolutely opposite. No, what do you think?
I think it's true.
Oh, you think it's true?
Yeah.
You both say true.
I'm going to say true.
Well, I'll go with my team and say it's true.
You say it's true. OK, Miranda, the cigar, Christmas morning. Truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Oh.
Yes!